Hey everyone. Today's topic, it's interesting how people will judge us differently and form different opinions of us based on the environments they meet us in. This is something that fascinates me because it's really interesting how difficult it can be to fully get to know someone else because there are quite often a lot of factors kind of inhibiting you from getting to know someone else. So quite often people will form snap judgments or opinions about you that aren't all that accurate. But the reason I find this so fascinating is just how different those opinions and judgments can be based on the environment that they meet you within. Because we all tend to be somewhat different based on the environments we're inhabiting, right? And this makes sense because even though I even encourage us to be authentic and honest as much as possible, I know that's not going to be realistic 100% of the time. There will be certain situations where being authentic can actually be a bad thing. Like if you're at work, for instance, I can tell you right now, my authentic self, if I presented fully my 100% authentic self at work, it wouldn't be good because I would straight up be honest with my coworkers and tell them, yeah, I'm only here because I need to make money to support myself. If I didn't need to do that, I would not go show up to work at all. That wouldn't be a good thing, right? Because they would immediately look at me and be like, okay, so you're not really motivated to be here right now. That's not good. Maybe we should get rid of you or overlook you for promotion or so on and so forth. It wouldn't be good. So depending on the situations or environments that people meet us in, they can form completely different opinions about us. And it's fascinating. I mean, going back to that work example, even though I'm not 100% authentic at work, I am as authentic as I can be given the circumstance. And my work ethic is not good anymore. It used to be great because I was very ambitious and actually wanted to work for other people. But once COVID hit, it really kind of changed the way I view work. I've never really enjoyed working for other people because I've always wanted to do my own thing, to start my own businesses. I just love freedom to that extent that anytime I'm in a situation where I feel like I don't have freedom, which working for other people, you're never going to have full freedom, right? Because you have to do things to maintain your job, like not taking vacation all the time and having to work late hours from time to time and showing up all the time. Basically, you don't have real freedom. So I've never enjoyed working for other people for that reason. And also, I don't really like being told what to do. I never have. You can ask my parents. When I was a kid, they probably would get annoyed with me all the time because I would do my chores more likely if they didn't ask me versus if they asked me. It's like I always had this rebellious nature where as soon as somebody wanted me to do something I didn't want to do, it made me not want to do it even more because now they were telling me to do it and I didn't like being told what to do. So yeah, that's something that's been a little part of my personality even up till now, although obviously it's not as bad anymore. I will do things that I don't want to do because I know I have to quite often, but I still don't enjoy it. So yeah, my work ethic isn't quite as great as it once was, and my coworkers have noticed. They've told me that it's not so much, well, I guess it is that I'm so much is not as motivated, and they've noticed that. It's basically, they told me that I can definitely ask for more work to do, more responsibilities, and they've noticed I kind of don't do that because I just want to get by doing the bare minimum because I don't enjoy it anymore. I'm surprised I even somewhat enjoyed it earlier, but I had different goals. I wanted to be like the CEO of a company eventually, but I wanted to get there by rising up to executive level and then going from there. But now I don't want to do that. I'd rather start my own business. So yeah, it's not that I've lost that ambition. It's just shifted. It's gone from being ambitious at work to now being ambitious with doing this, my side hustle or side gig. I don't even really make any money off it right now. But yeah, I guess it classifies as a side gig. But this is what I'm talking about. My coworkers probably have an interesting opinion of me. They probably think I'm lazy and unmotivated because that kind of is how I am at work. They probably think I'm not going to amount to anything in life because of that. And yet if they had met me on the street, I don't know, or at a grocery store or something, they would probably have a very different opinion of me and probably think that I'm a cool person and authentic and would make for a good friend. I'm sure some of my coworkers may still believe I would make for a good friend, but they probably don't think I'm going to amount to much in life, just going off my work ethic. And sometimes I'll think about that, and it's just so funny to me because yeah, we'll form different opinions and judgments of people based on the environments we meet them in. Like, you guys all view me one way because you see how I am in these videos. But my coworkers, I don't tell any of them that I do this, and I hope none of them have found it organically. That would not be good. But they're going to have a very different opinion of me versus you guys, because you guys see basically the unfiltered version of me. But I can't present this form of myself at work because it would lead to me likely losing my job. So yeah, it's funny, and I'm sure many of you have encountered this where maybe you meet someone at school in a class that you're not super confident in, so the people you meet think you're not a confident individual, yet maybe if you're in another class where you actually know the subject, you're somewhat different because you have that confidence from knowing all the subject material, just things like that. Or maybe even, yeah, going back to the school, if you meet someone there, you may be incredibly intelligent at school, so people form that opinion of you being intelligent. But then maybe at work, you never really have to do much that shows your intelligence, so maybe your coworkers don't actually believe you're that smart, because unless you're doing like really, how do I even put it, like strategic type work or analytical type work, you don't really need to show off your intelligence at work. If you're just doing like grunt stuff and just inputting data or something like that, like obviously your intelligence probably won't really shine all that much. So there are just so many situations where people can form different opinions and judgments of us, and they're not getting the full picture. And it's so fascinating to me. I just want to talk about it. I'm sure many of us have experienced this. I don't have any solutions for this because, yeah, we're not going to be able to be 100% our authentic selves in any given moment. And some situations just don't warrant you presenting your full self. Like going back to that example of intelligence, if you're doing certain things, there's not really any need for you to then try to prove your intelligence to other people and say, hey, look, like I'm super smart. Not only would that make you come off really arrogant, it's probably going to make them think like, what the hell, what does this have to do with anything? Why are you trying to prove your intelligence? We don't care. Yeah, so just stuff like that. Like, it's very rare that people will be able to see all sorts of different facets to you and your personality. In fact, this is what makes friendships, our close friendships, so special, because the longer you know someone, the more you are able to know all those different facets of that person's personality. So with your close friends, your close family, and even if you have a significant other, that's special when they're finally able to learn a lot more about you, because very few people will get that opportunity, right? Like your coworkers probably aren't going to get that opportunity unless they're really cool and you end up staying in touch even after leaving a job. Like actually one of my best friends, she and I met at a job years ago, back in like 2014 at this point. We've almost been friends for 10 years, which is awesome. But she and I only stay friends because she's freaking awesome. She's one of the coolest people I know, and kindest as well. So that doesn't happen all that often though, because beyond her, I don't think I've kept in touch with any of my coworkers from the past. Yeah, I don't think I have. Maybe like I've got some of them on Facebook, but I don't reach out to them all the time. They're not what I would call legit friends. So this is a rare thing when people are able to get to know us on those deeper levels. So yeah, it's interesting to think about. And I guess if there is one lesson to take from this, just make sure you don't take those close relationships for granted, because that really is a special thing. Like most people out there who know us in some way, shape, or form, they may have a pretty inaccurate opinion or judgment of us just because they haven't seen the full picture. They haven't seen the entirety of who we are, because those situations or environments that we interact with them in don't warrant our full selves being shown. So they don't know who we really are. And it's fascinating to realize how often that happens. And another thing I'll say is never take it personally, the judgments or opinions other people form of you, especially in these cases where they don't have the full picture. Like, why would you get offended over what someone thinks of you when they don't even know you? It goes back to even rejection. Like when you get rejected by someone early on and getting to know them, it's like they can't reject the real you because they don't know the real you. So yet again, we shouldn't take it personally. But anyway, I guess just realizing there are a few takeaways from this subject, so that's pretty cool to see. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of what I wanted to talk about in this video. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know your thoughts on this phenomena in the comments below, because it's pretty interesting, right? Feel free to share any stories you have where Maybe people misjudged you and later on they got to know you and realized you were quite different from what they initially thought. Or share stories where you may have had the wrong opinion of someone else. I mean, it's always fascinating to think about how these relationships we have with other people can be so vastly different based on those environments that we meet those people in and interact with them in. So yeah, feel free to share your stories below. But that's all I have for you. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you like content like this, be sure to subscribe for more. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Arrivederci.